Welcome back to CutNoCorners. This is Corbin.
And I'm Joe. And in this episode of How Much Would You Pay? We're going to review Call of Duty Cold War.
Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War specifically.
If this is the first time watching the How Much Would You Pay series, we're going to give you some pros, some cons to the game that we review, and then we'll tell you how much we would pay for the game.
Totally personal opinions of ours, but we did just do a playthrough of this game on our channel.
Plug.
So we got it fresh in our minds. So we're coming from that perspective. We have played each of the game modes it has to offer. So we'll be going through, see if the price was justified or not.
Maybe you'll look for a sale that brings us down to the price we suggest.
So, the pros. What do you think, Joe?
Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is a 2020 first-person shooter video game developed by Treyarch and Raven Studios and published by Activision. So it has your story mode, your campaign. It has all your normal online modes, zombies. That's probably one thing they brought back. I think that's been in most.
Treyarch tends to be the one in charge of the zombies. Activision's not usually the one who does it.
So your zombies are back. Everybody loves zombies. The online is your classic online. So you have your ragey moments, but you have your moments of glory. The story has some epic set pieces. I'll save the rest of that for the con section.
Pros. If you're a fan of Call of Duty by now, their multiplayer, then you probably have already played it and you know exactly what it is. If you're not a fan, this game isn't going to change your mind. But you do got to give it to Call of Duty. I mean, ever since they started this formula back in like 2006 with Modern Warfare, it's one of the most fluid first-person shooters you can possibly play. As far as the control
high
scheme,
action,
the fluidity of like jump to slide to the amount of control they give you over your dead zone and your ADS and all other games try to mimic Call of Duty controls when it comes to first person shooting is how good it is. Beyond that, the graphics were awesome. Zombies, personally I loved World at War, Keynote, and then the original Black Ops zombies. They just modernized it with this, kind of tied it into more of an 80s theme, setting for the protagonists.
This is your first next-gen Call of Duty, and it looks spectacular. The graphics are unmatched at this point in the Call of Duty realm. In the first-person shooter, it's pretty spectacular visually.
Modern Warfare looked pretty great too, though, but it was a totally different setting. They also even threw in other game modes you wouldn't expect, like Dead Ops Arcade, which is like a top-down version of zombies. It's all 4-player co-op, so you can have a good time with your friends, even if you don't like doing competitive stuff. And then in your typical, team deathmatch, or they still do have some competitive stuff in that section. Like Gunfight has been a new favorite mode of mine ever since last year's Modern Warfare. That's all positive. What about cons, Joe?
Yeah, some of the big negatives that we have. The story, it was a little underwhelming at the end. We won't spoil the whole thing, so you guys can go watch our playthrough. Plug. The biggest thing, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but it doesn't have that classic epic set piece at the end where you're just a reference here, pulling a knife out of your leg to throw at the baddie. It doesn't have that type
he killed Ghost!
feel. It doesn't have that at the end. The other big drawback, the size. This game runs 190.8 gigabytes right now, minimum, to download to your hard drive.
If you want to actually have the whole game on your hard drive.
Yeah, that's one thing they did. That you can pick which pieces you want to download. You can only download zombies. You could only download multiplayer. You could only download campaign.
Alone is like 65 gig.
Yeah, any combination of those. Yeah, 65 gigs for the campaign.
As soon as we beat it, we deleted that and kept the multiplayer.
Yeah, those would be my biggest cons. Do you have any more to add on top of that?
Mostly it's the story. Not that it was just like a crappy story in general, but it's just not up to par when you compare them with other campaigns from Call of Duty's. Like, the original Modern Warfare trilogy was awesome, or even the first actual Black Ops game. Like, that story worked so well.
Yeah.
And then this one to just kind of like try and fail so hard. I mean, for us, you might love it, but we didn't land didn't stick the landing in our behalf.
They tried to do something here. They tried to give you like some sort of freedom. Like the story is not 100% on rails. It's like 90% on rails, and that 10% off the rails just feels
There's 2
wrong.
optional side missions.
Yeah. But I mean, even in the missions themselves, you can kill or save the person.
The ending still ultimately only has just a couple ways to go.
The decisions that you make don't really impact the game at all, except for your 80s montage at the end.
It's not like Heavy Rain or Detroit or like Until Dawn where you have a 18 different endings. There's like 2 endings basically.
Yeah, but they tried to give you something that was slightly off the rails, unlike your normal Call of Duties where it's fully on rails. Everybody does the same missions. You have to murder every single civilian in a airport.
Yeah. I mean, that was a pretty intense opening. I mean, that stuck with everybody. But yeah, that's the campaign. Con-wise, for the multiplayer, this is going to be a personal preference, but like some people find like the new system of having like health bars and stuff as a con. I don't mind it. I think it kind of helps because in previous games,
like knowing,
especially especially in Warzone or something, or just like Search and Destroy or whatever you want to say. You're fighting, and let's say you die, and you're like, he's one shot, and like everybody around you just has to be like, oh yeah, like yeah, he's one shot, and then they go and they're like 3 or 4 shots. Like you don't know, you're just hoping and guessing and assuming. But in this, you actually can see enemy health. And another thing that I'm still not positive if it's a pro or a con, stims that heal you, they no longer have a quantity in the game. They recharge. They replenish. Doesn't matter what perks you have attached. I do like the new perk system, though, where you can stack like up to 6 perks. And they also got these wild cards now. I think it's a nice way to like kind of balance out like the weapons so that not one is like extremely OP over others. I mean, you're always going to have that when you have such a roster of guns. I don't know. I do like how they handle the multiplayer in general.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll move on to the what would you pay part of this. This game retails right now for on PS5 as $69.99. It's your cross-gen bundle. You get your PS5 and your PS4 version. But there's no other version you can buy it. You have to buy the $69.99 version. For me, if I was going to give this a price value that I would pay, personally, I would probably knock it down. I don't want to pay $70. I don't like that for many games. I would say $49.99, honestly, is what I would pay. The campaign ruined it, so if you're just getting it for... I'm going to knock some money off for the campaign itself. Multiplayer is great, so I keep that up there. Zombies is zombies, but... If I wanted to pay, it'd be $49.99. I mean, I paid full price for it, but...
Yeah, I mean, we got it pretty early. I mean, I got it the day of that it came out. So, as far as how much I would pay, even though Call of Duty at this point is somewhat of a rehash every single year, and we all know it, kind of like how Assassin's Creed was like that for a long time, too. I haven't played Valhalla yet, but I assume it's very similar to Odyssey. Those have broken the mode a little bit with the whole RPG thing. Anyways, that's a different series. With this, because they packed it with as much as they have, with zombies, campaign, Dead Ops Arcade, multiplayer, Warzone, and with the amount of like limited time modes that they're cramming with the multiplayer to keep it fresh, I honestly have to say it's worth the asking price that's in the store. Like, I obviously would recommend. I mean, I don't think it'd be a waste of money. If you actually break it up with the amount of hours that you're gonna put into this game, I mean, you're gonna be over the course of a year spending like less than $1 per hour of gameplay. You're gonna be spending like a quarter per hour. So I think the asking price is fair.
I can see
even
that.
though I hated the ending of the campaign.
I have to take some off for that. It rubbed me the wrong way. So
if it also had crappy multiplayer that didn't have much replayability, I would totally agree. Like, it should be like $30-$40. But the fact that the multiplayer is pretty solid and is gonna keep my interest for like at least 6 to 9 months,
Like Prop Hunt.
I'm,
We didn't even talk about
yeah.
Prop Hunt.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I mean, they keep it. They don't just keep it all serious. They keep it light too. Like it. They don't take themselves too seriously, but they also do in some other parts because it's supposed to be a military shooter. Yeah, I think it's totally worth the asking price.
Yeah, so let us know what you think in the comments. Tell us how much you would pay for the game. If you haven't bought it yet, let us know if you'll follow that advice on how much to pay.
Why are you talking a little bit higher
I don't
each
know,
time?
because I'm reading that book.
Separate your words.
How's it going on that book?
This has been Cut No Corners, everybody. I'm Corbin.
And I'm Joe. Remember to comment,
Smash the like
subscribe, and smash the like button. We'll talk to you in the next one.
Bye.